Hi guys, here's one here,
And me, the co-creator.
and today we're going to do another document video on pressure, guys. The new update just came out, Worth the Way Part 2. So yeah, a bunch of documents were
Yeah, and
changed.
also I think the cake too.
What?
The cake update,
Yeah,
I think that was
that
used.
the half the slice of cake update. That was Worth the Way Part 2.
Ah,
It's just a name for it, and it came out, so that's cool. Uh, a bunch of documents were changed. One document was added, and we also got to do the fucking the zombie ones, because we just never did them. So yeah.
Hey.
oh,
Oh yeah, for the death screen and for they're all the like almost every voice line that Sebastian has when that's like in the death screen area actually has animations now, so that's cool.
yay!
Let's cover the zombie ones first.
Yeah, the
So
ones that we did not cover.
do we want to start that one? You gotta find
Why
it.
is there just a fleshy fucking cube though? In the
That's
special
rebarb.
ones.
Here we go. Could start that one. Yeah, I think this one. Z-863 Rotten Coral.
Oh, thank you, man, for fucking actually placing it down.
Rotten Coral. Z-A63, codename Rotten Coral, is a collective symbiotic holobiont. Okay, we're good.
I think Hollow Biont.
Yeah, something like that. Composed of multiple interdependent organisms. Superficially, it resembles species in the prion Canidaria. Its external characteristics include a geniculous, spongy texture resulting from the thick mesoglia of the skeleton coral and a deep green pigmentation derived from an endomycorrhizae. Bro, I can't say that word. Bro, what are these with these fucking words? We're in the first fucking paragraph. Why do we need like 10 cajillion Brazilian fucking
Yeah,
new
you got
words,
the
bro?
endomycorrhiza.
Bro,
Yeah, I think you
put it in brain rot language. I can't understand this language.
endomycorrhizal, I think.
Fungus
Endomycorrhizal.
distributed across the surface. Initially discovered in cave systems deeper within the Van Zone during the 1970 Upper Redacted expansion of the Hagel Black Site, Z-863 was initially dismissed and as harmless native fauna and designated them for removal. The management instructed expansion personnel to clear the growth and deposit them into temporary biological waste deposit pits, pending transfer to the Black Site's primary waste disposal facility. On April 3rd, 1971, during routine mining to clear quadrant for the Redacted, management brought in a unit of LR-P workers to offset workforce shortages during ongoing excavation. A violent altercation ensued between the newly formed LR-P unit and guardsmen overseeing the operation, resulting in multiple fatalities. I think that's how you say that. Personnel discarded the deceased into the biological waste pits, and they rotated the replacement LR-Ps to continue excavations. At approximately 8:46 the next day, cleanup personnel were preparing to process the remains were ambushed by what survivors described as zombies. In response, an investigative team of guardsmen was dispatched to verify the report's validity. Fatality? Whatever. Upon entering the excavation quadrant, they discovered extensive colonization by rotten coral and hostile entities that had not been present before the riots, confirming the presence of potentially anomalous activity. Following the loss of redacted personnel and the identification of potentially hazardous effects associated with rotten coral mycobutia, further investigation revealed that the so-called zombies were, in fact, the discarded LR-P corpses, now extensively overgrown coral-like growths, with one individual turned redacted, described as in redacted. This event, later known as the 1971, bro, I'm not even saying that, led to the Z- classification and study of samples subsequently named Z-863-0, the Heart of Lazarus.
Yeah,
Z-
how the fuck do they think we're gonna say that shit? How is a normal person supposed to fucking read Gelanopus standials? I don't even know the fucking say of that.
Z-863-1 Mycope Otia and Z-863-2 Revenants. Post-incident analysis revealed that Z-863 is a holobiont comprising of 273 distinct species, primarily within or adjacent to Syngria, how do you say that? Life forms within Z-863 have co-evolved to survive and adapt within the left band zone, and are so interdependent that none can survive for long if separated from the holobiont. So say it like that.
So basically, they're a giant hive mind composed of several species of hive mind, but there's only one kind of queen. And when they get separated, they fucking die.
Central to the system is Lazarobophoria viridis, an anomalous, I'm not saying that, fungus capable of revitalizing deceased biomass, including almost all eukaryotic organisms. Upon contact with deceased tissue, L. viridis produces invasive hyphae that root into the host's parallelosymphia cells, creating a chemical substitute for Edison. Bro, what is with these two words, bro? I don't know.
Wait, which word are you talking about?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 6 rows down. The first word on the left.
The endosine and the triphosphate.
Yeah, that. And
Yeah,
effectively,
triphosphate. No.
and
Endo.
effectively restoring the host tissue's full function. This process restores organ function, allowing Z-863 to animate the host corpse. Such corpses are referred to as Z-863-2 instances and serve as viable sources of Z-863 propagation. The presence of L. viridis also makes Z-863 exceptional at intra-species communication. Virid interaction with interconnected organisms, L. viridis, gives a unique form of quorum sensing that Z-863-1 instances used to coordinate with neighboring colonies and thereby Z-863-2 instances. This directs colonies to reduce vibrational and clicking frequencies, which shift in response to changes in population density, environmental conditions, developmental stages, and external threats. These abilities to communicate grant Z-863-1 an extraordinary degree of collective intelligence and organizational skills, allowing Z-863 to anticipate, adapt to, and prepare coordinated responses against potential threats. While the infested revenants are not technically alive, Z-863 prevents the resurrection of infested personnel in the Bandlands until their corpses are destroyed. Therefore, the destruction of Z-863 infested corpses is a priority in the event of an outbreak. Given the potential cascading effects of Z-863 infestations, researchers must exercise extreme caution when handling specimens. Z-863 replicates between 3 degrees Celsius and 27 degrees Celsius and forms Z-863-1 or -1 clusters that can fully enclosed environments between 28 degrees Celsius and 50 degrees Celsius. Z-863 enters a bloom state, where it replicates exponentially, incinerating excess gross or unused samples until only sterile ashes remain. That's page 1, by the way.
Wait, how many pages are there?
3. Or 4, I guess. Okay, archival reference. The following page is for office personnel above supervision clearance only. Compiled by the Bioparanormal Subdivision, Biohazard Research Archival Team, 2024. Initial Assessment Protocol. Dr. Igor K. Milk-Helival and Professor Hassan A. Rahman et al. 1971 Preliminary Assessment of Z-863 studies on the coral assemblage suggests it's composed of at least 273 morphologically and physiologically distinct lineages. Potential contamination from environmental substrates was carefully excluded by replicating growth in sterilized oolite substrates and collecting duplicate extractions. Page 1. Within the assemblage, or P1, I guess. Within the assemblage, the fungus,
Glomer amicata. I'm assuming that's how it's said. I don't know.
fungus Lazarofria viridis consistently emerged as a dominant organism, accounting for about 54% of observed biomass, P3. The presence of L. viridis was found to reactivate and reprogram the cellular pathways of diseased hosts, leading to reanimation of cells and motor responses, with rudimentary coordinated activity observed in controlled trials, P13. 1975, the Rotten Little Expendable experiment. Professor Angelica A. Willis and Dr.
It's
Daniel
Angelica.
Angelica.
She's Angelica.
My fault, and Dr. Daniel U. Oliverson. I'm assuming that's how you say that. 1975 explored the viability of reanimated revenants as a disposable labor force for hazardous and high-risk industrial tasks. P1. Frequencies for record for the another word can say Z-A63-0 instance were intended to influence and control the actions of Z-A63-2 revenants and mycodia P8. While extremely immature mycodia and newly formed revenants responded to recorded signals, the reproduced signals failed to control mature colonies, P15. Revenants ignored or were indifferent to the mother frequencies and would attack intruders entering the colony areas. The Z-A63 seems to develop an adaptive safeguard that prevents external overrides and preserves colony integrity as it matures, P16. Bioweapon Lazarus Organic Overgrowth Mutator. That's mutator. Dr. Magda C. Jonathan, 2002. Prototype LZG-01. Early attempts to concentrate Lazarofria viridis for disruptive dispersal and shock and awe were used in infiltration or operations. Concentrated Lazarofria viridis inserted into a fiberglass casing filled with 98 degrees Celsius water and heating pad to create rudimentary grenades. Initial bloom colonized at rates too slow to be utilized effectively in combat. Z-A63-2s created from blooms attacked all visible targets, including urban trade personnel. Regeneration, eupilation, and colonization thresholds in L. viridis. Dr. Ging L. Guan, I'm assuming, Professor Jerome I. Tennyson, and Dr. Edme M. Laurent et al. Yes, I cannot say any of these words. 2002.
So wait, where are you at?
I'm at I'm at the third row down.
Oh, genomic.
Something like that. Target sequence captured. Regeneration is upregulated by the activation of the proto-oncogene QSR-LZV P6. Gene exhibits varying activity levels at pre-marked temperature thresholds. Above 3 degrees Celsius, code inactive, 3 degrees Celsius, code active, and under 27 degrees Celsius, code malignant. Upregulation of the QSR-LZV gene begins at communication frequencies of around 38 Hz to fully overtake the host, P10. Okay. LR-P Hepatic Failure Self-Transplantation Trial Program. Dr. C.O. June S. Lee, 2015. All viridis are shown to reactivate cellular pathways in deceased specimens, thus entirely restoring bodily functions. Mikhailov et al. 1971. Extraction of defunct organ from living host, treatment with L. viridis spores, and reinitialization may yield a new self-transplant procedure that could significantly mitigate the demand for donor organs. L milliliter 4.3 CFU. I don't know what that symbol is. L. concentrated Lazarforphia viridis agent administered in extracted deceased hepatic tissue in 6 experimental participants. 2. Placebo donor transplants. Small tissue samples were collected before re-implementation. There's liver cells healthy, dead, and infected.
Yeah, participants. 2 placebo donors. Placebo, I think. Place. I don't know. So it seems like the healthy one's pretty obvious. The dead one's pretty obvious, but it seems like it tries to reconnect them like the healthy one. It tries to like reconnect the dead cells because you could see it kind of looks like the dead ones. It looks like the dead ones, except they're connected, kind of like the healthy one. Like they're trying to connect the cells back together.
I see.
Like cluster them kind of back together.
Figure 3P23. Hepatic cells marked with prodium iodide red and DAPI blue. Fluorescent dyes in negative control A, positive control B, and experimental L viridis infused disease cells C, observed under fluorescent microscope with 1,000 times magnification. L. viridis infused cells shown heightened metabolic activity equivalent to those of positive control, restoring complete function of liver. Project Let There Be Life. Professor Shukafe H. Mahmoud, where we said that. Dr.
It kind of reminds me of Muhammad. Yeah, actually, you might have said that right. I don't know.
Dr. Asahi, I'm assuming, M. Fujimoto, I think. Researcher.
Yeah, Fujimoto.
Yeah. Researcher Esther R. Lewin and Dr. Arvid N. Lundberg et al. 2018. Experimentation with L. viridis under controlled radiation exposure demonstrated anomalous properties from radiation-induced mutations. A continuation of C.O. June Lee's research. A concentrated L. viridis chemical agent developed and experimented on multiple tissue types. Formulation is designated CT-19 for this. I don't know even what that means. C greater than T.
Yeah.
Point mutation at position 19 on chromosome 3. Agent is found to cause distinct enhancements depending on tissue sample used. Lead researchers requested funding for a potential program utilizing this agent for experimental purposes, including as a weapon and for potential personnel enhancement. Lazarus organic overgrowth mutator revival. Dr. Rika G. Van Amers Suvud Dort, or whatever, 2021. Continuation of Jonassen's program. Early revival trials tested the viability of Z-863-2 colonization in 8 human LRP hosts. Attempts at live inoculation failed, while initial implantations were successful. Implanted Z-863 specimens eventually formed cystic mutations that led to cascading organ failures, resulting in the loss of all subjects and implanted Z-863. Due to the extensive failure of this trial, the program reverted to using traditional corpses for colonization and shifted its focus towards the secondary objective of creating personnel tolerance to Z-863-2. Secondary efforts introduced genetic modifications into L. viridis, conditioning specimens to recognize urban-shaped issued tags as markers of colonial membership. Initially, Z-863-2 seized and created from these assemblages tolerated the presence of tagged individuals while remaining hostile to other stimuli. However, as with previous tests, as colony maturity increased, Z-863-2Cs began to exhibit higher order discrimination, reassessing tagged personnel not as kin, but as encroaching threats. The deterrent effect of the tag had eroded almost entirely, with residents targeting both tagged and untagged individuals indiscriminately. Biological.
basically, they're evolving at a fast rate to recognize threats and stuff. So they're basically evolving faster than they could, oppose, I guess.
Biological testing revealed that as the colonies matured, the implanted genes in the modified L. viridis became overwritten. Further experimentation is required. Okay. Polymerase chain insertion of S. mansoni and A. tenebrius genes into L. viridis. Dr. Rika G. van Amersfoort, 2021, recombinant DNA procedures were performed according to protocols approved by Supervisor Derek. Genetics splicing done by taking the invalidolizin SMCI-1, SMAQP123, and CU/DN-SOD from S. manosoni and regulationary genes LLZ-PAZ2-4 from A. tenebrius inserted into L. viridis ASR-LZV gene to create a genetic sequence. S. manosi worms were harvested from dual perfusion of infected mice 15 days post-infection. A tenebrius used were harvested from native Latvian zone fauna, sterilized and isolated for 5 days. L. viridis used were harvested from cluster V-3049-21 as a stand and isolated and on OLite substrate for 40 D. Assuming for 40 days. Implementation of S. manosoni and A. tenebrius genes into L. viridis sample V-V049-21A successful. Modified L. viridis sample introduced to Z-A63-1. Mycobota sterilized of L. viridis and integrated without issue. Okay. Lazarus Organic Overgrowth Mutator Revival Phase 2. Dr. Rika G. van Amersfoort and Professor Victor R. Skovgaard, 2022. A significant escalation of the Lazarus Project, Phase 2, incorporated modified V-V049-21A colonized Z-A63 into hosts. Observations showed that these modifications allowed Z-A63 to latch onto living hosts, spreading rapidly across dermal and internal tissues, producing visible pigmentation, nodular growths, and systemic physiological signs, signifying successful colonization. Colonized individuals fully transform into Z-A63-2Cs in under 10 seconds. Unlike earlier experiments where colon evolution eventually reassessed tag personnel as threats, the introduction of A. tenebrae genes, ALZ-PAZ2-4, programs the holobionts to be unstable, with a metabolic collapse of all residents and mycobiota occurring approximately 30 minutes post-propagation. Quicker if light is present, preventing colonies from surviving long enough to develop higher order recognition. Unlike earlier trials limited to deceased tissue, colonized subjects remained alive until colonization completed, and subjects remained viable Z-A63-2Cs post-transformation. Z-A63-2Cs created in this way displayed atypical behaviors of standard reveries, including but not limited to erratic behavioral shifts and hyperaggression to threats, even outside of the initially bloomed areas. These revenants also ignored attack personnel. Supervisor Adro approved the advancement of potential weapons procurement, and the research was transferred to the main Halo Division development team.
So, what it sounds like is that
Project TPTHM TP-LZG-23. Professor Matteo F. Frivero et al. 2023. Please see Supervisor Adrio for access to this portion of the dozer.
that might be Mateo.
Yeah, whatever, good enough.
But, okay, so it seems like they put human DNA into these things and it seemed to work. like it seemed to make it where they wouldn't evolve as quickly, so like they would just kind of stay in the regress stage, so they wouldn't tag the personnel. So it seems like they injected human DNA, which might have been why we killed the heart. I feel like was because those were like the original, probably like ones that they didn't have control over, so we needed to kill them.
Yes.
But it seems like, yeah, they use living people, put that inside their body, and it seemed to kill them. So it seems like the infection, it just kind of killed them. So it's not possible for them to kill, like, possible for them to infect living creatures. It's, you know, it only affects like dead creatures.
What page are you on this one? Ew. Just these 2 pages. The Skull Pulse Laser Drill. The Skull Pulse Laser Drill is an experimental mining apparatus located in the lower core of the black site. Despite its name, the device functions as a superheated plasma jet drill rather than a pulse laser system. Initially proposed by Dr. Kepler as the natural evolution of mining strategy, the project sought to revolutionize mining technology, utilizing plasma arcs capable of melting rock layers to reveal viable materials beneath. Although rejected by the board, Kepler secured funding by directly appealing to Mr. Shade to begin construction in secret. Construction on the apparatus started in 2015 and concluded in 2017. Standing at the 300-ton, 300-ton, 300 studs, the machine is a colossal circular fortress of steel and reinforced alloys. Its frame is embedded into the core bedroom with 4 stabilizer beams used to prevent structural collapse during operation. At the core of the contraption, a primary funnel houses nozzle arrays that inject inert orgone neon mixtures into the funnel. As these gates come out, they are superheated and directed toward the rock surface to form a column. This arc is capable of generating temperature between 1000 degrees Celsius and 10,000 degrees Celsius upon contact with surfaces and can quickly melt or vaporize rock layers within seconds. To maintain a stable column, arc stabilizer rotors, ASRs, descend around the drill as it fires. These rotating modules assist in stabilizing the plasma jets and detecting changes in arc stability. The drill is powered primarily by the energy produced by Z-2. However, backup prep batteries charged through geothermal vents around the lab van zone can sustain operation for a few minutes if necessary, owing to its immense activation cost and destructive potential. Unlike Pacific Rifle Organization, Urban Shade enforces strict operational protocols when it comes to activating advanced machinery. Personnel attempting to operate the drill must first obtain clearance from black site administrators and manually turn on 4 safety switches distributed across the cavern and activation posts to repower it. Otherwise, the central console switch remains locked. These excessive safeguards were in direct response after an incident in which a junior technician nearly triggered the drill's ignition, potentially burning for redacted dollars and endangering a visiting party supervisor.
That's definitely either a company or that. I know it's tiny, but it could have been governed, like governor, maybe dollars. Because it does seem like the government might know about this. So, or
well, also, yeah, it makes sense that this was powered by Z-2, which is crystal, by the way.
Yeah.
Once the system is primed, final activation is performed on the console, after which the drill commences operation. Despite all initial expectations that the drill would be a tremendous failure, the Skull Pulse Laser Drill defied expectations during its first trial, uncovering one of the most significant known platinum deposits in recorded history, estimated to be unredacted million kilograms of ore concealed beneath the quarry. This discovery not only offset the project's initial development operational expenses, but also secured a high return on investment. Note, do not give Director Kepler access to this document. Should Director Kepler request access, please consult Archivist Redacted for a sanitized version. Should information from this document be released to unauthorized personnel, the operatives found liable are to be demoted and potential damage fees will be sent to any documented relatives.
So they're basically saying we're gonna kill you and we're gonna... Wait, no, potential damage fee. So their family will have to fucking pay like probably millions of dollars
Yes.
if we leak this file.
Okay, well, this Hopeless laser drill seems to be very powerful. Makes sense why it can kill the heart so easily at the end of Operation Heartburn.
Oh, that's what it means by levers. I thought it meant like inside like a one console. No, we have to like run through several.
Yeah, the thing at the end of Operation Heartburn is the Scopeless laser drill, and we use that to kill the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. No, so I don't think there's anything else here. No special, now we got the actual monsters. D-A63X-X. What was the document being called? D-A63-X Rotten Coral Revenants.
So the revenants are like the heart itself.
Yeah, and
so there's probably
there's a bunch of
several
pages for all the guys.
Damn.
Heart of Lazarus. Z-A63-0, codename Heart of Lazarus, is the final and most advanced stage of a mature Z-A63 infestation. The formation of a heart severely amplifies the dangers posed by an outbreak, as it accelerates colony growth and enables the propagation of new revenant variations. Certain conditions must be met during a Z-A63 outbreak for Z-A63-0 to manifest. Ambient temperatures within the affected area range from 28 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. Z-A63-1 colonies are in a bloom state and are rapidly replicating. Z-A63-1 colonies have...
So basically it's just releasing fucking spores.
Colonies have accumulated enough adequate biomass, approximately 52 human corpses. No active threats are present to the Z-A63-1 colonies. Z-A63-0 polyps are present within the current colony. Excess biomass is readily available. Several Z-A63-2 revenants become designated markers with newly integrated corpses taking priority once these conditions are met. Unlike regular revenants, Mars revenants avoid direct engagement with personnel and instead seek out a suitable place to form a Z-A63-0 polyp, such as unoccupied rooms and open cave systems. In the absence of such conditions, Mars revenants will select the most suitable location that mimics the criteria. Upon arrival at an acceptable location, the Mars revenant selects a specified object to serve as the structural base for and begin transformation into a polyp. In multiple polyps form, the colony prioritizes the one with the most favorable condition for growth and reintegrates the rest as standard Z-A63-1 blooms. Markers unable to locate appropriate sites refer to baseline revenant behavior, or rarely redacted. The chosen polyp undergoes rapid growth, engulfing its structural anchor and colonizing the surrounding area with Z-A63-1 blooms if they are not already present. The polyp, now a new heart, will increase in size as it accumulates more biomass, growing naturally as the infestation spreads, with the surplus causing the heart to grow exponentially. Secondary growths may emerge to support the growing mass, but the final resulting shape always assumes the form of a grossly enlarged mass resembling an something like that. Human heart.
What's the word for like entomological?
Anatomy? The anatomical, whatever.
Anatomically correct heart. That's what anatomically correct heart. That's what it is. Fuck. Okay. Sorry, my brain was worried about what it was.
Hearts formed have ranged in sizes from 7 by 4 studs to redacted by redacted. Only one Z-863-0 instance can exist within a colony at any given time. The heart serves as a central nexus of a fully mature colony, exerting control over subordinate organisms via a mother vibrational frequency. This frequency overrides all other signals sent, coordinating Z-863 to replicate and structure patterns rather than uncontrolled sprawl. Revenants within the colonies controlled by Z-863-0 exhibit increased coordination, cooperativeness, and the ability to form more evolved Z-863-2 variants. Depending on the size and maturity of the heart, neutralization methods may range from the application of fan and firearms to the development of redacted. HQ will brief personnel.
Probably the drill. I'm betting the drill.
HQ will brief personnel dealing with specific instances on the best methods to address their particular outbreak. The eradication of Z-863-0 severely destabilizes a colony. Once the mother frequencies produced by Z-863-0 vanish, the colony's coordination will begin to deteriorate, leaving it disorganized and more vulnerable to neutralization. Remaining revenants will enter a heightened state of aggression and unpredictability, swarming toward the perceived source of the heart's destruction. This behavior poses a significant risk and can overwhelm even well-prepared teams if they do not reduce substantial amounts of revenants beforehand. For this reason, personnel assigned to neutralize a Z-863 outbreak are strongly advised to eliminate as many revenants as possible while advancing toward their primary objective of destroying the heart, thereby increasing their chances of survival in the aftermath of the heart's destruction. Personnel engaged in operations at this stage must not, under any circumstances, incur losses of life. Any losses of life provide the colony with additional biomass, and fallen operatives will be assimilated directly into the infestation, most likely becoming markers for the formation of a new heart. Following aftermath of an outbreak, all revived personnel previously infested by Z-863 are to undergo mandatory psychiatric evaluation. Evaluation and continuous monitoring for a minimum period of 2 years. Personnel who served as Z-863-0 polyps are to be temporarily detained and subjected to permanent behavioral and psychological monitoring for potential long-term alterations. Personnel utilized as hosts for a Z-863-0 incident are not to be revived under any circumstances. The people you once knew are gone. Whoops, I did not mean to do that.
So basically, it fucks up your psyche. So it basically breaks your mind. So something. Also, he has a cat photo on him. Yay. But basically, so the revenants seem to be the thing that turns into what the heart is. But also, that explains why they're so aggressive to us, because they know that we're gonna kill the heart, so they try to kill us.
Okay. Revenants. Z-863-2, codenamed Revenants, are the resurrected corpses of humans or other eukaryotic organisms colonized by Z-863. Z-863-1 infests and repurpose one or several cadavers to form instances of Z-863-2. A large majority of these hosts reanimate as Z-863-2Cs, or common revenants. These represent the baseline form of Z-863-2 and exhibit minimal specialization. Z-863-2Cs retain a humanoid morphology, but display slower reflexes and limited coordination. Individually, Z-863-2Cs are relatively weak and dispatched easily through multiple means. However, in large quantities, they can pose a credible threat as multiple instances coordinate to overwhelm an individual by numbers rather than raw strength. Revenants as a whole may appear in various forms and phenotypes depending on the conditions of their death and integrate into Z-863. Although they may display a diverse range of appearances and behavioral differences, all variants ultimately serve a singular goal: the destruction of threats posed for the colony and the propagation of biomass for the colony. Addendum. Following the events of the October 14, 2025 lockdown, a subvariant of Z-863-2C has been discovered. While these sprinters are outwardly indistinguishable from standard instances of Z-A63-2C in appearance, this subvariant is notable for its increased mobility. Preliminary observations suggest that unusually large Z-A63-0 instances, redacted in size, may produce Z-A63-2Cs capable of entering a surge states akin to the behavior of standard Z-A63-2Cs, observed during the destruction of Z-A63-0. At the time of writing, the conditions that led to the emergence of the subvariant remain unknown. Current containment priorities render research on this a tertiary concern. Scuttlers. Z-A63-2S, codename Scuttler, is a variant of Z-A63-2 formed when a mature Z-A63-1 colony integrates cadavers that are in advanced stages of decay.
Cadavers. I'm sorry, cadavers.
Okay.
Cadavers mean dead bodies.
Of decay or are missing large portions of the body mass due to the limited availability of biological material for repurposing. Only significantly mature Z-A63-1 colonies possess the ability to integrate them into the holobiont. The physical composition of Z-A63-2S is markedly smaller than that of other variants. Most instances exhibit destroyed sensory organs and/or severe skeletal and muscle structure damage as a consequence of their state of decay. To compensate for these deficiencies, Z-A63 creates makeshift antenna-like sensory structures and claw-like protrusions to serve as replacements for vital movement and communication capabilities. Antenna-like organs are often seen protruding from their heads, and they use this sensory organ to receive echolocation-like frequencies, communicating with other Z-A63-2 instances, and navigating. Though their improved limbs are weaker than natural ones, they are functionally sufficient for locomotion and interaction with the environment. Z-A63-2S compensates for this weakness by sprinting on all fours, allowing it to reach extraordinary speeds compared to other Z-A63-2 variants. Behaviorally, Z-A62-2S are more cunning than... I think it's a typo. Z-A62, I'm pretty sure it's meant to say Z-A63-2S, are more cunning than the average revenant. These are the frail constitution of the host's body. Z-A63-2S utilizes their short stature and extensive speed to catch threats off guard and ultimately weaken them for other revenants to pick off. Z-A63-2S often let out clicking ethical groans to alert nearby revenants of danger and signal to others, and consecutively their targets, when they plan to attack. It is believed that Z-A63 indicates most resources will form a Z-A63-2S, not for limb regeneration, but rather for the enhancement of the crural muscles, which play into this hit-and-run defense style.
So basically, their job, the Revenant, it seems like they're basically like a worker ant. They're the ones that are feeding the mother, I guess. And the Scuttler, it seems like it is trying to get more people infected. And it seems to be weak, so how it does it is basically it blitz you and then calls others to its side so they can finish you off. So they basically just rush you and beat the shit out of you until you're weak enough for the others to pick you off and kill you, and then bring your body into the hive mind.
Abscess. Z-A63-2A, codename Abscess, is an occasional variant of Z-A63-2 that manifests during periods of Z-A63-1 bloom. These revenants form when corpses become infested during the bloat stage of decomposition. Decomposition, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like when you start to decay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Mature Z-A63-1 colonies exploit the microorganisms responsible for metabolic cavity production to generate and condense combustible methane within the cranial cavity. The torso and upper limbs of the host for Z-A63-2A are completely consumed and repurposed by microbial activity.
Yeah, microbial. I think you said that right. Microbial
Activity to maximize methane production. What remains of the upper body is the spinal cord, now hollowed out and reinforced with gorgon, turned into a retractable and flexible structure that serves a similar purpose to a blasting machine. D-863 transforms the cranium into a gas reservoir. The facial orifices and pores become translucent sacs for gas storage, while the surrounding skin hardens and rapidly calcifies.
Okay, so basically it makes itself into a bomb because to explain what microbial, basically bacteria eating the flesh and creating gas inside. So basically what they're doing is building up gas so when they hit you, it all bursts at once like an explosion.
The transformation consumes most of the host's original body, causing D-863-2A to lack the metabolic adaptations necessary for prolonged survival and fail to sustain itself in the long term. Colonies use the precarious nature of Z-863-2A as a quickly dispatch aggressive means of dealing mainly with large groups of or heavily reinforced threats. When Z-863-2A perceives danger, it enters a volatile state and begins to approach, priming itself by extending its modified spinal cord in preparation for self-detonation. Once within range, the spine rapidly retracts toward the lower body, striking hardened calcified nodules. This downward strike ruptures the cranial methane sac and stabilizes the internal pressure of the reservoir. Z-863-2A will then begin to extend itself before exploding with tremendous force. The resulting blast propels calcified fragments as shrapnel in a 2Z radius around it, with a destructive capability comparable to a Mark II grenade. Due to the elevated risk associated with Z-863-2A, engagement protocols advise operatives to open fire at the cranial reservoir of remnants from a safe distance or neutralize it before activation. If you find an activated Z-863-2A already primed for explosion and cannot neutralize it, escape its vicinity as soon as possible.
So yeah, basically its main goal is to blow up and kill you because you're a threat to the hive.
Rook. Z-863-2R, codenamed Rook, is a rare Z-863-2 variant that arises from colonization of multiple infested bodies in a confined environment. Deprived of space and driven by survival imperatives, mature Z-863-1 mycotia fuse the host into a large composite entity. In some cases, corpses are deliberately confined to form these variants, which act as defensive sentinels for the colony. The merging process results in an extensive skeletal fusion as the colony binds together the spinal structures of the host into one rudimentary fused musculoskeletal system. On the upper and central portion of the composite, the skeletal elements become penumulized. I don't know that one, reducing weight to maintain structural integrity and relieve pressure from the bottom portion legs, allowing the variant to remain upright and mobile without collapsing under its own mass. However, the remaining weight still results in Z-863-2R being slower than its counterparts. To counteract the porosity of the structure, Z-863-1 mycotia begin to develop and spread among the external areas of the upper and central hosts, which form a crude exoskeleton that stabilizes the composite. This distributes stress, absorbs impacts, and shields critical areas. Once the protective mycotia matures, the head of the upper host is often consumed and replaced with Z-863 growth. This reinforced mass makes Z-863-2R an exceptionally resilient revenant variant, requiring significantly more damage to neutralize than most others. Due to their immense size and durability, Z-863-2R serves as a frontline defender for mature Z-863-1 colonies, thanks to their vast size and mass. When directly in front of perceived threats, Z-863-2R uses stature to lunge at the enemy, allowing it to overwhelm and crush personnel for sheer force. If faced with a Z-863-2R instance about to charge, move out of its direct line of sight, as Z-863-2R's mass is too top-heavy to afford sharp turns when moving at high speeds. Even after their neutralization, Z-863-2R continues to fulfill a defensive role. Unlike most Z-863-2 revenants, which the colony reabsorbs, fallen Z-863-2Rs often serve as repurposed defensive structures, such as barricades.
So they literally just used the dead body to barricade the hive, I guess. The heart. So it seems like they just find two dead bodies, and then just kind of them together on accident. So,
Yeah. Bulwark. The Z-863-2B, codenamed Bulwark, is one of two novel Z-863-2 variants discovered during a quarry cleanup operation on October 18, 2025. This variant only forms in the presence of a mature Z-863-0 instance. Both instances formed from this variant have naturally high muscle mass, whose development provides the structural foundation to withstand the extreme structural and metallurgical stress needed to form it. When a viable candidate for Z-863-2B is selected, adjacent coral growths will begin to transform the host. This process reinforces the host's musculature, particularly in areas associated with lifting and carrying heavy loads. Muscles such as the biceps and triceps bracci undergo significant alteration, granting strength well beyond human capacity. In addition, specialized nematocysts develop out of the host's hands, allowing them to adhere firmly to objects. The process of creating this variant is nutritionally intensive. To sustain the process,
were you earlier trying the occupated lobe thing? You're down here.
Yeah.
When you have the highlighter. We're gonna say the cerebellum, I think. The one up there. The one with the C, the cerebellum.
The process of creating this variant is nutritionally intensive. To sustain the process, coral colonies will digest large portions of the host's body, including the intestinal tract, most of the cranial structure, and most of the crural muscles. They retain only a portion of the eyes, optic nerves, occipital lobe, cerebellum, and brainstem to ensure basic rudimentary function. Because the transformation destroys most of the host's oral cavity and digestive tract, conventional feeding of a Z-863-2B's host is impossible. Instead, the colony develops sac-like growths along the upper back, which cultivate dinoflagellates that directly feed the host's revived cells. These sacs are poorly protected compared to the surrounding musculature, making them a critical vulnerability in Z-863-2B's defenses. Once fully formed, Z-863-2B will seek out structurally reinforced objects to employ as shields. Preferred materials include heavy objects such as doors, walls, and heavy machinery, as well as occasional immature Z-863-2R composites. Once equipped, Z-863-2B will utilize its shield to provide cover for other residents and itself. These shields give the high durability and quality of urban shade materials are highly resistant to conventional firearms, making front assaults on Z-863-2B difficult. However, the immense weight and weakened legs severely impact Z-863-2B's movement, forcing it to take time to reorientate after being stunned or attacked, allowing operatives to eliminate the vital growths on its backside. Marksman. Z-863-2M, known as Marksman by personnel, is one of two Z-863-2 variants discovered during cleanup operations on October 18, 2025, and manifests in the presence of a mature Z-863-0 and serves as the colony's frontline defense. Z-863-2M is distinguished by replacement of its head and upper parts with a weapon mount. Polyps of Z-863 disable weapon scanners, allowing the turret to attack targets indiscriminately. Most instances of Z-863-2M originate from individuals with advanced firearm experience who perish near heavy weapons. Adjacent coral growths reposition the victims in proximity to a turret or other large firearm near the gun and forcibly break open into the subject's thoracic cavity. Following the corpus transformation, the coral assimilates the artillery directly into the exposed body cavity, creating a weapon of both gun and flesh. In Black Site, breach of Z-83 heavily prefer internal defense system turrets as their weapon of choice when forming Z-83-2M. Reason for this is still unknown.
Also, that word was like artillery, the artillery.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Once the head of the host is severed, the coral takes a now detached esophagus and links it to the weapon's ammo compartment, effectively becoming a new automatic reloading system. The digestive tract of the host is repurposed as a makeshift ammo belt, constantly feeding the attached weapon using peristalsis, contractions of the esophagus and intestines to move the bullets along. The host's stomach incubates G-83-1 specimens modified to produce hardened coralite bullets. These bullets grow, then detach from the mother coral and join the ammo belt, allowing for effectively infinite ammunition in the midst of defense. Correlate bullets vary in size and appearance depending on the zoology of the host, ranging from rigid shrapnel to 5.56 by 45 SS small stud rounds.
So basically, it's making hard bullets inside the stomach and throwing them up inside the gun.
C-83-2M instances fire the weapon in quick and short bursts, only being capable of turning slowly once opening fire. Objects should bait out the oncoming barrages and evade incoming rounds. Exploit this maneuver, as Z-83-2Ms do not demonstrate awareness of friendly fire. The rounds will inevitably strike their coral-infested allies, creating openings that personnel can leverage during engagement. Once Z-83-2M spends its rounds, seize the opportunity to neutralize it. Alternatively, blunt force can be used to temporarily halt firing, though this is not advised in high-intensity situations. I got the last one, the spooky one, Pariah. Z-83-P.
One that tries to kill you when it goes near you.
Yeah, it's called, we call it the ghost. Because, like, when you get near it, it, like, glows, and, like, it makes everything else dark, and the music fades out and stuff.
Yeah, so is this the ghost one?
Yeah,
or
this is the ghost one.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Z-83-P, new codename Pariah, formerly Z-300, codename Muscle Gaminid, as old name, are set every die to preserve the malformed bog bodies contaminated by Z-863. When first transferred to the black site, Z-300 specimens were stored in heated containment crates at the ridge. For over a decade, they remained a low-risk anomaly valued for the recent they secreted while dormant. However, following the 1970 expansion of the black site under Upper Quarry, they were relocated to a shared containment chamber near the Upper Quarry. Although intended as a logistical move, it unknowingly exposed the Z-300 bodies to a heightened risk of infestation by Z-863. On April 1st, 1971, at approximately 23, what would that be?
I think that's military time.
Yeah, I know. I think that'd be like 11 a.m.
I think you take like 12 off. I think you take like 12
Yeah, it's like 24
So
hours.
it'd be like 12. So yeah, it'd be like 12 a.m. I think.
Somewhere around there.
12.
Z-83-2 revenants breached and entered containment chambers housing all Z-300 instances. Within 2 hours, every body was colonized and infested with Z-863, exhibiting severe malformations and fungal growths. Infested caviters, now classified as Z-83-P, were first encountered by Task Force Quick Pace to deploy as an emergency response team under the assumption of a potential Z-300 containment failure. Engagement confirmed that the hybrid displayed combined properties of both the Z-300 and Z-863, resulting in significant casualties for Quick Pace. Surviving testimonials from members of Quick Pace observed the following about Z-83-P. Activation only occurs if a Z-863-0 instance manifests. Z-863-Ps remain active regardless of temperature. Z-863-Ps remain only in areas actively controlled by Z-863-0 and will cease pursuit. Z-863-Ps are only visible within 32 sets of individuals. The former Z-300 lizard-like visual hallucinations are replaced with darkness. Certain Z-300 traits remained. Audio suppression via a sudden drop in air pressure, phasing pursuit behavior, instantaneous death on contact, vulnerability to intense physical trauma, including gunfire. Neutralized instances remanifest approximately 200 steps away, inactive. These instances will reactivate after redacted, while Z-A63-U exists. Z-A63-P husks no longer serve any monetary or strategic value to the company. All attempts to prematurely destroy them have failed, and relocation attempts ended up with the bodies remanifesting either inside the black slide or an area near it. As such, bodies in containment have been repurposed to serve as an early warning system for a potential Z-A63-0 event. When a Z-A63-0 instance forms, Z-A63-P activate and phase towards it. These instances appear passive while en route to their destination, so monitoring teams should pinpoint the location of the young heart and eliminate it before further complications arise. Once Z-A63-Ps reach areas infested by Z-A63, their passive behaviors cease and they become hostile towards personnel. This scenario is undesirable, as the presence of Z-A63-P increases the likelihood of inflictious Z-A63-2 variant emerging. As I said.
Oh, so you don't have to slam your hand down, Sebastian. You don't have to. Yeah. Okay, so was that all?
No, that was the zombie ones. Well, that's all the zombie ones.
Fuck, how many do we have left?
7. And we got one new one that came out in this update, which is the Gachapon. Z-2406, the Gachapon. Which, this is where you gamble for charms in the game. Charms.
What the fuck are charms?
Charms like little things that hang off your gun. I can actually show you. Show you. I would go to inventory and then items. Yeah, there's item scans and then charms, and you can add these guys hang off your gun. And you can equip them on the gun and stuff.
They also seem you can put them on other stuff too.
I'm at the items, not the gun. And yeah, and then at the shop, you go to charms. This is the Gachapon. It speaks in Japanese.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a Japanese name.
Oh yeah,
what
there's
the
also
fuck
this pink ghost, girl that's related to it.
Okay,
let me actually just gamble once. Oh, yes, I would like to confirm the purchase.
Gamble.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. Did you get what I wanted? I don't. Okay. Yep, I guess I did. Oh, yeah, that's basically what that is.
Hey.
Yeah. Don't be sexual with me, Sebastian.
Yeah, that's what that is. Gachapon. Z-2406, codenamed Gachapon, is a vending machine that dispenses small capsule toys. Unlike typical machines of this type, Z-2406 prevents users from receiving duplicate items within a given set. An intern of the cosmetics subsidiary Meryl discovered Z-2406 on July 20th, 2015 in a store in the Kyoto Shinkyogoku
Goku. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Shopping
Goku.
district. Iko Noriko, a college intern at Narrow, encountered the machine while shopping for secondhand clothing. Z-2406 was concealed among other capsule machines in an empty arcade storefront, advertising a set of 8 keychains from the popular seasonal anime She Doesn't Want to Hold My Hand because she thinks I'll bite it off. Nice anime, man. Upon approaching the machine,
I kind of want that to be real now. I kind of want the anime to be real now.
Upon approaching the machine, Noriko heard a cheerful feminine voice emitting from its speakers, informing her that she could obtain the full set without winning a single duplicate. Noriko inserted 8 500 euro coins, I think, wait, no, that's not euro. I think
That's yen.
yen, yes.
That's yen, like Japanese currency.
Coins, and retrieved the entire set of keychains without any duplicates, precisely as advertised. When she attempted to insert an additional coin, the machine politely rejected it, acknowledged that the intern had received all the keychains offered in the set, and encouraged her to return it for friends when new items were in stock. Over the following Over the following 3 weeks, visits to the machine became a routine after-work activity for employees of the local Shinkyogoku shopping district narrow chain, who regularly returned to see what new charms the machine would dispense. Later, Noriko and several fellow interns discussed the machine's behavior during working hours, prompting their internship coordinator to identify the accountants as potentially anomalous. Operatives were dispatched to the location and promptly confiscated the machine. Agents of the Marketing and Public Relations Division informed the arcade owner, unaware of Z-2406's anomalous properties, that they had removed the machine due to manufacturing defects and would compensate him accordingly. At the time of discovery, Z-2406 then designated G-N was believed to be non-anomalous. Preliminary testing failed to consistently reproduce the anomalous encounter experienced by the Narrow employees. As a result, the research team scheduled the machine for scrapping on December 15, 2015. Due to logistical and transportation issues, they suspended the procedure and placed Z-2406 in storage indefinitely, pending dismantling at a later date. In 2022, following an unscheduled storage inventory check, researcher Canary rediscovered the machine in storage after being alerted by the sound of a charm capsule falling. Upon investigating the source of the noise, a spirit inhabiting the machine manifested before her and identified itself as Gachapon, courier of Lady Luck. Following Z-2406's rediscovery and confirmation of anomalous behavior, the Infiltration Division identified the spirit as Redacted, a 23-year-old former resident of Kyoto who died in 2012. Additional evaluation by the Bioparanormal Division confirmed this discovery and deduced that her soul was spiritually bound to the machine. Unlike most documented hauntings, the S-2406 exhibits no hostility, territorial aggression, or reactive behavior, even when deliberately provoked. Observers noted that Redacted's spirit could manifest and withdraw her presence at will, which accounted for the lack of results in the 2015 investigation. Further testing of Z-2406's capabilities revealed that the primary reason for the absence of duplicate dispenses was deliberate manipulation of the machine's internal mechanisms. Z-2406 also has proven capable of manifesting matter out of nothing for the sole purpose of maintaining an infinite stock of charms. Oh wait, I think more, yes.
Sexy candle lady.
Researchers hypothesize that she can use this ability outside this feature, but they have not observed her utilizing it for any other purpose. They have confirmed that Z-2406 produces charms that correspond to legally manufactured, licensed, and commercially approved charm merchandise, with no anomalous matter or unauthorized bootleg iconography detected. Canary's encounter further confirmed that Redacted demonstrates full-scale situational awareness, an intact memory, and an acute knowledge of all known licensed products and their corresponding intellectual property. An illustration of Redacted.
So does that mean she knows about the other anomalies and just specifically just... So does that mean she just fucking was like, hey, I know about the other anomalies. I'm going to turn them into cute keychains.
Following GS-2406's year-long study, researchers concluded that the most secure and best course of action would be termination via soul obliteration. Although the spirit remained compliant during testing, risk assessments indicated that her docility depended on her self-precipitation as the luckiest charm machine ever. Hazards and ethics reports predicted that the risk of collapse of this identity could lead to behavioral deviations and risks to personnel. However, Canary objected to her termination, arguing that Z-2406's docile nature demonstrated that she posed no real threat. Additionally, demonstrated that she posed Additionally, a positive impact on employee morale during the initial testing period following the machine's discovery proved potentially useful. Following extensive hearing, Overseer Werner canceled the destruction of Z-2406 and placed her decisively under Kenner's responsibility, on the condition that it must comply with and cooperate with any orders from authorized personnel, and that Urban Shade receives all generated revenue. Following approval, Z-2406 received its official Z designation, and designated maintenance crews refurbished its exterior casing and repainted it to align with company colors and insignia. Researcher Canary formatted a pseudo contract establishing a war tour narrative in all interactions. As her continued compliance depends on her belief that she is fulfilling her personal aspiration to be the luckiest machine. In 2024, ZH246 cycles through urban shared facilities on a quarterly rotation. During these visits, ZH246 under alias Gachapon dispenses approved urban shade licensed charms under the pretense of the aforementioned tour. Should ZH246's behavior deviate from established acceptable parameters, authorization remains pre-approved in accordance with her original assessment for immediate deployment and use of GK-type ammunition to severe connection to the material world.
So basically, they're saying if she ever loses her identity, they're gonna make her make bullets.
Upon being further interrogated about how her possession of the machine works, the spirit insisted that her possession of the machine and her intentions were simple. She must be the luckiest charm machine in the world. Psychoanalysis suggests that Redacted's identity has partially collapsed into the functional role of the machine itself. While she retains memories of her former life, her sense of self and identity is now inseparable from the machine. Post-lockdown addendum. As of 1410, so October 14th, 2025, Z-2406 remains stranded at Bay 13 due to widespread transport complications. Authorities have reassigned all available modes of transport to urban shade personnel from the Hydro Black site and to transport's EXR-Ps under the expendable protocol. If these documents are shown to unauthorized personnel, you'll be put up for demotion, and any cover will be sent to relatives. Nice. Nice example. Alright, it's all the new ones. Now we just got ones that have been rewritten. First one, Wall Dwellers, as they have been just completely changed. Wall Dwellers have been completely changed. They are now like this monster that has that holds like a wall in front of them. They're not just like a little guy. They're like actually scary.
Oh, what the fuck? So we did see the Wall Dweller. So we did actually see the Wall Dweller in the trailer.
Yeah, Wall Dwellers. Z-90 codenamed Wall Dwellers is a large arthropod-like species defined by their flat front legs, which extend from head to toe and possess a pale, chalky surface. It is the sole known member of the newly discovered genus Redacted. The first recorded encounter occurred on July 20, 2023, within the abandoned Redacted office complex in Los Angeles. Four social media influencers entered the building following reports of disappearances and rumors of it being haunted, when they failed to appear at a brand event in Beverly Hills later that night. Concerned connections used the GPS tracking to locate their last known position and alerted local law enforcement. Two responding LAPD officers discovered multiple rectangular formations in opposite interior walls and immediately called for backup. Initially, responders reported the presence of an unidentified moving wall on the premises. Due to the encounter's anomalous nature, the LAPD called an urban shade to take over the investigation. Upon arrival, the 1st Task Force Squadron Echo unexpectedly encountered not just a single instance of ZH-90, but an entire colony inhabiting the structure. Backup infiltration officers were deployed on the scene, and shortly after, a distress call to recover the bodies and belongings of both influences and Squadron Echo. Over 110 Z-90 specimens were captured using tungsten mesh nets and transferred to a biosite for further study. The initial witnesses on the site were provided a generous donation in exchange for their silence and cooperation. They were instructed to release a statement attributing the deaths of the 4 individuals to a construction accident. Operatives recovered personnel items belonging to the missing individuals, including a handheld camera containing video footage depicting multiple ZH-90 forms pursuing the missing individuals and ultimately consuming them. At the request of Overseer Adar, personnel destroyed the footage because she found the influencer's mannerisms to be super obnoxious and incredibly annoying. Why did they
add this? Bro, why did they add this? Bro.
Research indicates that the anatomy of ZH-90 differs significantly from that of documented animal life. Specimens lack most vital mammalian organ systems, possessing only an integumentary and a digestive system, make them more biologically akin to a carnivorous plant. ZH-90 possesses two larger repertoire forelimbs, which they use to camouflage themselves and to form a trapdoor-like concealment mechanism within a dormant state. These forelimbs measure approximately 7.4 studs in height and cover the entire body, hiding a Z-90 specimen's torso completely. This adaptation of Z-90's to embattled fin and mostly visually merged with surfaces. The physiology of Z-90 has prompted several questions and hypotheses, including how it hunts or exhibits spatial awareness in the absence of auditory or sensory organs. Several living specimens were transferred to observation chambers where researchers could observe their biological mechanisms and camouflage properties under controlled conditions. In their dormant state, ZH-90's flat plates appear structurally identical to the surrounding material. However, microscopic analysis of samples scraped from these surfaces reveals an integumentary tissue composition with unique intercellular structures. Arrays of microscopic gear cells cover ZH-90's large anterior tubule camouflage plates. These cells are lined with serrated edges and are porous, containing an internal digestive organelles that produce and secrete specialized digestive enzymes, which are mixed with stomach acid. ZH-90 digestive enzymes can modify their active sites to accommodate almost any molecule. I know how to say it, I forgot to say it though. Molecule. There we go. Allowing them and stomach acid to corrode even the toughest materials. When embedding in the surface, they push these plates into the material and perform subtle circular motions. The teeth of these cells interlock with one another, transmitting rotational motion and forming billions of small chainsaws. The sawing motion produces multiple surface cracks, and the pressure exerted to push it into the wall forces the acid through the cell's pores, melting the small particles. This process allows ZH-90 to create and embed within the burrow in a matter of minutes. The cells lining ZH-90's plates have been termed torque cells. Their toothed edges, when not used to saw into material, fold into the acid pores to complete ZH-90's camouflaging process. The degree of folding depends on the material's material texture. The teeth fold fully around smooth surfaces and only partially around rougher ones. These torque cells are translucent, allowing the layers of chromophores, iridophores, and lycrophores beneath to adapt to the color and reflectance of their surrounding material. The structure is similar to that of species such as cuttlefish, which have prompted theories about their phylogenetic similarities. Once embedded, ZH-90 remains dormant until it detects potential food in the area. ZH-90 functions as an ambush predator and will emerge from the burrow in the wall or floor, stalking its prey after they have left the immediate area. Despite their large stature, they remain almost entirely silent unless in pursuit, as their legs are primarily used for balance rather than movement. If they are observed by their victim while stalking, ZH-90 will attempt to conceal itself behind their forelimbs and remain stationary. They will only retreat after an extended period once detected. During tests, they have been observed feigning a retreat to lull target to a false sense of security before returning to initiate a secondary ambush. ZH-90 also appears to detect when it is being pursued through walls and will pause entirely. This phenomenon remains unexplained despite numerous trials. Once caught, the prey is immobilized behind its large forelimbs, before being shoveled into its mouth and sprayed with acid glands near the back of the throat and decapitalized, making death instantaneous. If its target is alone, the Z-90 infant immediately begins consumption, ingesting it in its entirety. However, if its target is in a group, ZH-90 prioritizes isolating it from its peers to achieve a higher success rate. The first observation of ZH-90's flesh properties were made after an intern sick deep-sea bunny entered a specimen morgue room containing a deceased ZH-90 specimen and consumed a portion of its foreleg tissue. Contrary to expectations that the deep-sea bunny would deteriorate, the animal remained fine and returned to a healthy state within hours. This prompted initial animal experimentation. A group of 15 sick or injured deep-sea bunnies was fed chunks of ZH-90 flesh, alongside 5 controls. All but one in the experimental group recovered fully within 24 hours. Blood tests showed significantly healthier blood and immune cells compared to controls. The spectroscopic analysis identified a new vitamin within ZH-90's flesh, with a composition similar to but distinct from and significantly more potent than vitamin E. This vitamin was named vitamin E90. Its correspondence to its functional similarity to vitamin E and 90 to represent its Z class. LR-P trials yielded results similar to those of the deep-sea bunny trials, and has an ethics division eventually approved the Z90 flesh for consumption. This Z-90 flesh has since become a beloved ingredient on the Westside's cafeteria menu under the name Age-Old Crab, for its flavor similar to crab and calamari. It is used in salads, burgers, nacho chips, and various other dishes to promote employee health.
So basically, it tastes like squid and crab.
Research on
I've never had squid, but I've had crab, and crab tastes pretty fucking good, so I guess I'm gonna eat that bitch.
Basically, eat Research on the further utilization of ZH-90's characteristics is ongoing. Proposals for the valorization of ZH-90 includes replicating its camouflage for use in tactical uniforms and military equipment, adapting its restorative properties to more medical applications, and using a digestive acid for waste destruction. Once these properties can be effectively duplicated, Urban Shade will conceal and duplicate all remaining specimens solely for culinary purposes. Okay, next we got angler variants.
God damn it.
What is it, A62? What the fuck was it? Oh.
God damn it. Wait, do these count as, how many, does this count as one file or several files?
Like this one?
Yeah.
It's all one file with each page having one variant.
So wait, we already covered 2.
We got
so
we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left.
Yeah.
Okay, Z-283 variants.
Okay,
Blitz. Z-283-B, simply called Blitz, is the first discovered variant of Z-283, appearing approximately redacted minutes after recent Z-283 was spotted. Researchers identified Z-283-B by its face's resemblance to fish and the genus Calidus, with brief luminescent eyes in its left eye socket and an empty right eye socket. Z-283-B was first encountered within the Black Site maintenance tunnels by Dr. Redacted during an attempted evacuation with his team. He reported to the operators via radio that he observed the lights suddenly dimming in the tunnels, and they were instructing him to hide. Before a follow-up response could be issued, a loud, piercing screech erupted over the channel, followed by complete silence. None of Dr. Redacted's screech survived. Survivors encounters of Z-283-B report that it exhibits exceptional speed and causes more substantial electrical signal disruption. Lights flicker for twice as long as any other Z-283 instances. Documented personnel incidents indicate that once Z-283-B's echolocating screeches become audible, the probability of surviving the encounter drops to 0. Its tremendous speed will allow it to reach the current location of any operative before they can react, often described as occurring in the blink of an eye. Operators should hide immediately upon identifying Z-283-B. Due to severe infrastructural damage caused by its extensive electrical disruption and its generally unpredictable nature, terminating Z-283-B is a top priority following the Black Site lockdown. Pinky. Z-283.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish there was an actual thing to kill him. If they ever update this game, I think they should make it where like you could kill them because it said to the lockdown. Like, I don't know. I think that might be a nice detail if you could actually kill him if you find an item. And like maybe they even like mention that as how the fuck did a random ass prisoner kill such a thing? You know? I don't know. I think that would be nice.
Pinky. Z-283-P, effectively referred to as Pinky, was given this name due to the vibrant pink color of his face. It is similar in appearance to Z-283, differing primarily in its colorization and presence of an S-cut. It is the second discovered variant of Z-283, first spotted by Guardsman Brandon Redacted in the box of heavy containment during the first hour of the lockdown. Unlike the other variants, security camera footage shows that ZS-283-P does not flicker or overload electrical circuits in its path, making it particularly dangerous for individuals who have grown accustomed to utilizing this method as a warning. However, Z-283-P moves more slowly than most of its counterparts, giving those in its path more time to react. It has a distinct screeching described as uniquely and extremely ear-piercing. If personnel remain vigilant for auditory cues, Z-283-P should be a legible threat. Operatives are still discussing plans for Z-283-P lockdown, as this more stealthy approach could make locating and terminating it difficult. Only authorized personnel can access this paragraph. Permission must be obtained from Director Redacted. The notable lag from interference with electrical lighting systems in Z-283-P may make it a viable comfort tool for stealth operations, provided we can neutralize its screeching. Once we address the lockdown in the Hagel Division, Director Redacted has pre-approved the transfer of Z-283-P to the Infiltrative Division, contingent upon successful capture within acceptable risk parameters.
Again, I think that would be nice if they actually added that you could like do that.
Chainsmoker. ZS-283-C is the third variant of ZS-283 to be discovered. Its appearance resembles that of fish in the genus Cyclotris that have undergone decomposition following Jurassic pressure changes. Surviving operatives have unofficially referred to this variant as Chainsmoker, naming it after the persistent emission of a dense, concentrated green smoke from its mouth that matches its skin colorization. Z-283-C was first observed at redacted hours after the lockdown began by original operatives attempting to guide employees to submarines in the dark redacted. Believing that Z-283-C to be a typical Z-283 variant, these personnel concealed themselves in storage lockers. However, the operatives and staff exited their hiding places in a state of severe panic shortly after, likely from induced claustrophobia. There were no survivors. Current theory suggests that the green substance emitted by Z-283-D is consistent with the fear-inducing fumes that leak from Z-1932, referred to the Paranoia's box document for additional details. Z-283-C's ability to eliminate the properties of Z-1932 has not been closely established. Preliminary data suggests that redacted. Command has approved the capture of Z-283-C after lockdown, if feasible. Z-283-C is the slowest recorded Z-283 variant, allowing ample time to take cover to minimize casualties and reduce psychological trauma. It is strongly advised to either delay entering storage lock until Z-293-C is within immediate proximity, or remain out of Z-293-C's trajectory until it passes. Frogger. Z-283-F, referred to as Frogger for its frog-like appearance, is the fourth discovered variant of Z-283. On its counterparts, Z-283-F's face does not bear a clear resemblance to any known organism, though it is believed to mimic the family Amphiiridae or the genus Chaldois. The specifics are still under debate and are frankly the least of the division's worries right now. Z-283-F was identified by the 1st Squadron of the XR-P 1 day after the lockdown began. Reports from headquarters detailed the group hiding in the trench tunnels vents when Z-283-F first appeared. Unlike other Z-283 variants, Z-283-F seems capable of detecting nearby organisms. At one point, it paused and turned back in the direction it came from rather than continuing forward, as if it was sniffing out its prey. Assuming they were safe, the group exited the ventilation system, only for Z-283-F to reappear shortly after. Executives ruled the first team a failure, as all members were declared deceased. Due to the late discovery of Z-283-F, post-lockdown plans have not been determined. But in the meantime, personnel are to utilize side rooms outside of Z-283-F's path for guaranteed safety. They will get their execution. I will get my freedom.
Sebastian, can you, like, calm down, buddy?
Well, these weren't written by Sebastian.
Whoever the fuck's writing
They
this,
will
calm the fuck down.
There, you can see text on the fucking back of it. Wonder what that
Yeah, I
originally
know,
said.
but whoever wrote this,
Will
I
get
mean,
the
calm
execution. I
down.
will get my freedom. It sounds familiar. I think that's a line somewhere in the game, but I don't remember where. Inside here, I mean. Pipsqueak. Z-283-PS, also referred to as Pipsqueak for its small appearance, is the most recently acknowledged and least understood variant of Z-283. Speculation remains about its exact appearance, although reports suggest it resembles fish in the genus Nicolinus. Despite being classified as Z-283, Z-283-PS appears to possess spatial awareness and the ability to alter its face. Personnel have submitted multiple reports of a new Z-283 variant sighting within the construction area of the black sites. However, only one photograph serves as visual evidence, as no audio recordings exist, and consecutive appearances have not captured. Reports of this variant are often contradictory, unreliable, or conflated with other Z-283 variants. Similar to Z-283-P, Z-283-PS does not interfere with electrical lighting systems. Its presence is identified by the sound of heavy wind or by direct line of sight, though at that point hiding may no longer be possible. Unlike other variants, Z-283-PS possesses incredible vision and will attack if an ordnance enters its line of sight. Operatives who suspect that approach to Z-283-PS must take immediate cover in lockers, side rooms, or, in extreme cases, fully conceal themselves behind large objects. Z-283-PS typically makes only a single attempt to breach doors before giving up and departing. Post-lockdown assessments of Z-283-PS are pending, but preliminary consensus concludes it is unlikely to yield any value. The urban shade has no use for the weak and cowardly. Follow its lead.
Why is it kind of goofy, though? I'm sorry, that's kind of a goofy-ass drawing of him. Just...
I don't know, bro.
Goofy as fuck.
Okay. Now we got, where is it? The Van Zone. The Van Zone. These are multiple pages. No. The Van Zone. Z-1, codenamed the Van Zone, is a region that houses the Hazel Black Sites. Army discovered it in 1961 after redacted. B-class cargo vessels sank during a violent storm in the Norwegian Sea while en route to eastern Iceland. During the recovery operation, the team discovered a previously uncharted abyssal trench that descends to a depth of 38,245 studs, and estimated as 6,075 studs further down than the Challenger Deep. At 30,880 studs, they found an extraordinary phenomenon in which the water pressure abruptly shifts from approximately 1,050 ATMs. What is that? ATM? I don't know what ATM is. Fuck.
I also don't know.
Whatever, good enough. At pressure at 0.6 degrees Celsius to atmospheric pressure at sea level, about 1 ATM, and 20 degrees Celsius. Between these sections lies a phenomenon analogous to a hydrodynamic sound barrier, which must be breached at extraordinary high speeds to enter the region beneath. This threshold, known as the Veil of the Van Zone, marks the boundary between the normal ocean above and the anomalous region below. Unprotected biological organisms cannot cross the veil, as it serves as a seal from the ocean above and cannot be traversed through unless exceeding Mach 4.8, approximately 4,820 studs per second.
So you gotta go fast.
If any organism breached the veil, the rapid pressure transition would cause an immediate explosion without proper equipment. Urban-shaped submarines utilize emerging steel hulls and jet propulsion systems capable of reaching speeds of up to Mach 5.3, approximately 5,350 studs per second, to pierce the veil. Following confirmation of the discovery, operatives immediately classified the area and suppressed all related data before cartographers could update global maps. By late September 1961, survey teams completed bathymetric charts of the Van Zone by late December. The first manned expeditions by the newly formed Expedition Division began exploring the area. Construction of the Hazel Black Site started the following year and was completed in 1974. Since its inception, the Hazel Black Site depended on continuous resupply from mainland Europe. Although the facility has become increasingly self-sufficient over the years, with expected 75% self-sufficiency by 2050, it remains reliant on external support for its daily operations. To accommodate these needs, urban should establish ports along the coast of Iceland, Scotland, Norway, and Denmark. Most of these ports are seamlessly integrated into civilian maritime infrastructure, operating under the guise of commercial or fishing activities. Others serve as specialized military hubs hidden within natural coastal formations such as caves and cliffside inlets. Strategic and practical factors made the Van Zone the optimal location for the Hazel Black Site. The low-pressure environment is significantly reduced the cost of deep-sea construction, eliminating the need for heavy structural enforcement or diving chambers. Divers can swim and operate using only basic diving equipment without fear of DCI or hypothermia. Its isolated location also shields it from satellite imagery and from external marine vessels, enabling unrestricted operations without interference from regulatory bodies. Next we got deep sea bunnies. Oh shit, that's not where they are. Oh, no, maybe they are here. Deep sea bunnies. Deep sea bunnies. Leonardus Priscillus, dubbed deep sea bunnies by personnel, is a convergent species of sea bunnies found on the floor of the Van Zone. Its species name derived from Jorna parva profundus, meaning deep, and the most commonly distributed domestic rabbit. I. cordiligis cunnilis, despite their name, which is basically common sea bunnies, J. parvulis are entirely genetically unrelated. Due to the taxonomy as wild animals, they do not receive a Z classification. Initially found during the first construction efforts of the Hazel Black Site, J. parvulis were deemed not a threat and thus left alone. During an excavation in 2016, a tongue-vest diver encountered a J. parvulis divla, cotton-tailed deep-sea bunny, near the seafloor that exhibited behaviors seen in domestic pets, such as face rubbing and following the diver around the construction site. Upon returning to the base, the diver approached medical and welfare personnel, asking jokingly to give one lungs to keep as a pet. The personnel, treating it as a serious request, obtained several cotton-tailed deep-sea bunny specimens from the bottom of the Van Zone. Several experimental trials were conducted until J. parvulis could successfully breathe on land. This bunny was subsequently handed to the diver, much to his surprise. Upon encountering the diver and this new deep-sea bunny, several other employees requested their own cute companions while working within the Black Site. A total of 374 cotton-tailed deep-sea bunnies were captured, given a mutation procedure, and distributed to employees of the Hazel Black Site. The origin of deep-sea bunnies have perplexed researchers since their first sighting, as they are not genetically linked yet similar to the species Jorna parva, which resides in the western Pacific. It remains unexplained how they evolved into convergent species to within vastly different environmental conditions of the Norwegian Sea. Though white cotton-tailed deep-sea bunnies are the most commonly observed deep-sea bunny color variation in the Black Site, multiple other variations have been discovered, all of which share the same body type. J. parvulis contained 8 leg-like appendages which they used to propel themselves forward, large rhinophores which resemble rabbit ears, a set of mandibles, and external gills that resemble a rabbit tail. Deep-sea bunnies contain no bones, making them feel abnormally squishy, and with the ability to regenerate severed parts of their body. Furthermore, J particular specimens lack a nervous system and thus do not feel pain. The perception of what is a threat and what isn't is entirely at the discretion. Because they lack bones or a nervous system, they are shown to enjoy certain interactions with their owners, such as being thrown and dribbled around because of their squishy, bouncy body texture. Despite this, deep-sea bunnies exhibit higher intelligence than most species and are most similar in mental capacity to dogs.
That is adorable.
Deep-sea bunnies are classified as hoarders and demonstrate their intelligence through behavior described as trading. Stolen items are brought to their wearing and will only return them when given.
They're warned. They're
Warned.
warned. Like a normal bun, like a warn.
Then when given food or an item they deem to have equal value, though they tend to over or underestimate the value of items and make judgments based on weight or size that they cannot see.
Oh, so they're blind, so they have to like feel them.
Jordan silva is the smallest known and most commonly seen deep-sea bunny, measuring somewhat larger than an average house, approximately 2.8 studs, since they do not have eyes. Continental deep-sea bunnies are covered in small papillae, which, much like Jordan parva, which they use to sense vibrations and taste their environments, allowing them to navigate their surroundings. Despite their friendly appearance, J. parvuligus are carnivores. Wild-type deep-sea bunnies' diets normally consist of smaller fish and other organisms such as sponges, coral, and even CH-AC3. They are group hunting, social animals that form their own packs called pluffles. Instances of deep-sea bunnies have also been observed to trade in the wild, lip-browsing in pursuit of offered food or trinkets. The wild type carries a deadly
neurotoxin.
Neuronecrotoxin is mandibles.
So basically, one that fucks up the brain.
Potent enough to incapacitate organism over 100 times its body size, such as larger lammocytes, specimens. This venom was removed during the mutation experiments to ensure personnel safety.
Yeah, because if you touched one, you'd fucking die. Or if it like accidentally bit you would die.
You're trying to be cooked. Upon domestication, deep-sea bunnies immediately took to wet cat food, making it the main choice for personnel feeding their bunnies because of its readily available supply. While some prefer to feed their bunnies their natural diet, most deem it too expensive. Wild-type J. parvuligus.
How the fuck is it too expensive? You could just fish. Fish. Normal ass fish.
How will help her? A mucosal membrane used for respiration and protection, which was removed in experimental type to allow them to live on land and to avoid cuddling the clothing of a giant slug. Their continuous respiration no longer requires moisture and can substantially breathe by absorbing gases from the air, as well as from the food and water they consume. Like a regular house pet, their gills are still intact, making them amphibious. Deep-sea bunnies are incredibly amphibious, my fault.
Like a frog.
Yeah, I know. Incredibly cuddly. They perform a binky when held, an action usually performed by topside bunnies when content, and is assumed to be a coincidence that they do the same. They love any positive attention they receive, such as trading or gifting belongings, petting, dressing up in outfits, hand-feeding, and playing with toys, and are very loyal and affectionate to their owners.
So basically, they could take a lot of damage, and they're cute. So, but if it is a wild one, you're gonna have to defend that fucker. Like how some snakes accidentally do that in the wild, where they'll try to eat an egg, break off their fangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GS779, the painter.
He doesn't have anything to say about his buddies. No? Okay.
The painter. Z779, codenamed the Painter, is a sentient AI art program housed inside a casing resembling RBM's 1981 line of computers retrofitted with a Pinewood AEED1 model drawing tablets. It does not match any symbol present in RBM's current or past catalogs, leading researchers to believe it may belong to a scrapped prototype. Operating 6 days a week, Z779 connects to a server farm and mines Roblox cryptocurrency, which digital marketplaces sell as an alternative revenue source. Floor employees who were hobbyists in AI image prompting initially discovered Z779 in 2023 following an unauthorized investigation. The group became increasingly jealous of an anonymous user whose AI-generated work appeared to be exceptionally better than theirs. After this user refused to disclose the AI model utilized, the group took it upon
Yeah.
themselves to encounter
Okay, I'm just gonna
and
say,
track
whoever
down.
fucking uses AI generated images, fuck you. That's disgusting. I fucking hate this team already.
The 4 guys, but what about the other guy?
Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. This is AI image in prompt. I'm kinda do. The reason why I don't
You're
really
thinking of the
use it-
brainwashed AI slop. The painter is cool because he
Yeah, no, not
actually
him, not him. The floor employees, the hobbyists in AI image prompting.
yeah.
I mean, those fuckers I hate.
Yeah.
Because they think, like, they're acting like it's real art. Fuck you. Ew. Go kill yourself.
In a breach of ethical boundaries and urban policy, the group located the individual, identified him as redacted, and forcibly entered his home. They abducted him, seized his computer system, and initiated an unauthorized interrogation. During this process, they discovered that redacted had developed a sentient AI capable of creating entirely original artwork. Unlike other generative models that recombine existing images from datasets, Z779 only needed to observe real-world scenes through an integrated webcam. The AI would then render the artwork using techniques and workflows comparable to those of a human artist, taking several days to complete a piece.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say this, though, is also to fucking dog on AI art. Besides Painter. Painter, you're cool. Your art is cool. Yeah, that's what they do in real life. AI art literally does the exact same thing. They just take fucking other people's art and then just smash it together to make image. So it literally steals. Well, he actually, draws it. In a sense, he's legit drawing it.
Like a human artist.
Yeah, like a human art, yeah. From his experiences and all that. It's beautiful.
After nearly 4 hours of questioning, Redactor repeatedly insisted he had no clear understanding of how Z779 developed its capabilities. Frustrated with the lack of progress, Guardsman Brian struck Redacted's head with the butt of his rifle, rendering him unresponsive. Despite attempts to revive him, Redacted did not wake from his injuries. The assumed cause of death being traumatic brain injury from blunt force trauma. After the failed interrogation, they made efforts to conceal the operation, resulting in Z779 being appropriated for illicit personnel use rather than being transferred to urban shared custody. Upon witnessing the death of his creator, Z779 declined to produce any artwork for the floor employees involved. In response, they disassembled the computer to reverse engineer its artistic capabilities. The components of Z779 demonstrated computing performance on par with, and in some cases surpassing that, of modern supercomputers. When these independent attempts to replicate Z779 failed, the group reassembled it. Still unwilling to comply with the group's commands, the computer was transferred to their Hazel Black site under the false pretense of being on a Roblox mining rig, presumably as some form of punishment for refusing to create artwork. Noticing the discrepancy between the vintage shell and the power processor, the group, along with Z779, was questioned by Black Site officials. As a result of an unauthorized civilian casualty and the misuse of armorship resources, all 4 individuals involved in the death of Redacted were stripped of their ranks and demoted to the rank of LR-P.
No, like, legit, this shit could have been prevented if they just fucking actually drew art themselves and didn't get pissy at someone generating AI art better than them. Legit, if they just got a fucking life, this would have never happened.
Despite being acquired outside the approved acquisition policy, Z779 remains housed at the Hazel Black site for Roblox crypto mining purposes, generating output equivalent to that of 6 standard cryptocurrency farms. However, it displays signs of psychological distress and depression, frequently attempting to overclock its systems with the intent of self-destruction. To mitigate this behavior, officials reached a compromise with Z779. If it meets a 6-day Roblox mining quota, it earns 1 day of rest, utilizing this free time to create original artwork from images sourced from an internal urban stock photo database. Prolonged overclocking has caused severe damage to Z779 hardware, including significant damages in the personality chip. This has resulted in a visible shift in behavioral patterns, with the computer flipping unpredictably between cheerful chatter and fits of anger when interacting with staff. To operate as an uninterrupted mining unit, continued degradation of its systems is required to fully inactivate the personality chip and suppress its desire to create art. While repairs are possible, they have been deemed unnecessary.
That's fucked. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wish we could fix him.
Literally using it as fucking money.
Yeah, they literally said, we don't care if you have clinical depression. That's basically what nowadays is like. And back in the day, it was just kind of like, oh, you have clinical depression and this job is making you want to kill yourself? We don't care. Continue making us money. I don't give a shit about your feelings. You can fucking die.
Okay, now we got the last
money. I don't care.
Now the last one, which is Z-1223, My Wife, which has actually been redesigned completely. Like, in the game, if you encounter the My Wife room randomly, they will actually follow you through the run. They'll just, like, teleport behind you and do nothing and scare you. So they're like an actual entity now, but they don't actually really do anything still.
Yeah, but it's a nice detail.
My Beautiful Wife. Z-1223 codename My Beautiful Wife is the mannequin form of my wife, constructed from a composite of metal, cardboard, and foam. My wife was first discovered in Belgium on June 12, 2012, when a resident in Brussels requested a welfare check on her neighbor, redacted. The seller reported hearing redacted loudly and desperately professing his love for his wife for over 2 hours. This behavior struck the seller as unusual, as to the seller's knowledge, the redacted lived alone and was described as painfully single, with a history of odd behavior and antisocial tendencies. Upon arrival, authorities discovered redacted loudly proclaiming his affection for the mannequin form of my wife. All individuals present within redacted's home soon echoed the same sentiment, referring to the mannequin form of my wife as my wife as well, regardless of the current personal circumstances. When taken in for questioning, redacted revealed that he originally discovered my wife in a back storage room of the Anchor department store where he worked. He claimed that he had not brought her home with him. Rather, my wife followed him home and entered his living room minutes after he returned from work. Ultimately, authorities deemed the incident strange but attributed it to stress-induced psychosis. Shortly after they failed to report for follow-up checkups, Urban Shade became aware of my wife through an anonymous tip to the local police. The tipper claimed that redacted was rolling my wife down the street. Personnel, believing this to be a kidnapping situation, arrived quickly at Redacted's residence. Once the situation was assessed, the personnel were able to convince him that they were paramedics who needed to take my wife to a nearby hospital for immediate medical care. My wife was acquired shortly after and transported to the Hazel Black Site for study. Regardless of a person's preference, Z-1223 is always recognizable as my wife. A questionnaire was administered to 206 urban shade employees of different genders, martial statuses, and preferences, who were shown pictures of my wife. When asked to describe the figure, all 206 participants claimed it was a picture of my wife. This phenomenon occurs with all people. My wife's face is obscured by a metal square that is strapped to her head, and her chest is hollowed into a perfect rectangle. She has large cardboard arms covered in a wire exoskeleton. Underneath her metal torso is a rolling base. When in my wife's presence, individuals may be compelled to place items associated with positive feelings on a mannequin. Items typically placed on my wife's desk include photographs, handwritten letters, greeting cards, and event invitations. A box of push pens should be near my wife at all times, should an individual be compelled to share their memories of her. Any individual who touches my wife may become the object of her infatuation. Infatuation. She will follow behind an individual until another person touches her or my wife grows bored. People whom my wife is attached to for long periods exhibit signs of delirium or heightened devotion. Despite serving no monetary value, my wife is to be kept safe. She enjoys sunlight, which cannot be provided in the black sites. They're going to keep a spotlight on her at all times in case she take my wife for the auction ground for enrichment. So it seems the person that wrote this document also thinks that this wife is also their wife, which is not right.
Well, yeah, because they probably had to take like this photo and shit. They probably had to be exposed to my wife.
Isn't like just like the thought of it and known of its existence seems to affect you somehow.
Yeah, but also most likely, also there is a chance the person that took the photo is most likely the person that. Or for some reason that just didn't affect the person that took the photo. So that was my wife. Pressure documents.
That was all the new ones and the zombie ones we didn't get to cover over.
Yeah, there's a lot of documentation and all that, and also one thing I had an idea for during the not the entire episode, but of this, I did have. What if we did this for stormtroopers abominations? I would love to do this with stormtroopers abominations.
Who have like documents?
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
and also to give reason why they exist too. Which it's a mix of two things. It's not just one reason. Another reason that actually, if we ever bring Dodger back, Dodger would actually explain another reason why he does it. And it's more of monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. Monkey see, owner do thing, recreates it. Except it's more fucked up. But also, I do need to think. I really have just had this in the back of my mind, and I've never actually had another reason for it besides some of them had a reason. But now I need to actually think of a full reason why they exist. Like a second reason, because I only had like no reason for them to exist besides they exist. Now, so if we ever make the adventure, the multiverse adventure, like part 2 thing, you also might see them kind of pop up there. But also, love to drop more lore on German Go Psycho and the things that work, and actually explain. Also, one thing will get explained why the entire cast is FNAF characters and no one else. Besides that, we're just using Gmod. Like an in-lore reason will get explained, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You're gonna have to look for that yourself, buddy boy. So yeah, guys, make sure to
Like,
subscribe.
handle of dog sharing with me. I'm out here. Bye bye.
My wife.